It is the Riot Podcast. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We have a fantastic show for you today.
Good.
Yeah.
We better.
I really think so. I really believe it.
Actually, in this, we talk a lot about, my favorite would be Hudson's old roommates.
Yeah.
So if you have anything, and I think I'm more fascinated because I never had a roommate.
Yeah.
And to me, if I ever had a living room roommate, I don't even know what I think I would do with that. So when we get to that portion of the podcast, make sure you share your roommate stories because, dude, I love hearing about them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'd love to hear because, man, I feel like anybody who's had a roommate, you have at least some kind of weird interaction.
Yeah.
Whether it's because the roommate was actually legitimately weird or just the idea of you're from one family, they're from another family. Like each family lives their own way, and so those two worlds colliding in the same living situation, that can be crazy sometimes.
Maybe that's why everybody just stays at home.
Yeah.
You might as well just stay with your home roommates, which are basically just your family.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about that. We also talked about how some new Girl Scout cookies are coming out.
Nice.
Which I'm a big Girl Scout cookie fan.
Uh-huh. Make sure you say that right.
Yeah, I know. Girl Scout. I'm a fan of the cookies that Girl Scouts hand out. But
are you a fan you buy them each year, or just if you get them and someone buys them for you?
Buys them for me.
Yeah, okay. Because we're not really buying Girl Scout cookies.
No, I've never actually purchased Girl Scout cookies myself.
But
sometimes people will buy some and just drop them off here.
Yeah.
But otherwise, that feels again, your mom bought some. And
My
she's
dad
buying
always
them.
bought them. My dad always bought them.
But we're not doing that ourselves. But there's a new flavor.
Yeah, that we're all at least I.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a good one.
Hey, we got to do a taste test.
All
We
right.
got to do it on the show, right?
I'm not getting them. I got the Wendy's cereal. You guys are getting these.
True.
Whoever gets accosted by the Girl Scouts first has to buy them.
Then we moved over into some more food stuff by talking about some of the best leftovers, which I thought was interesting because I like leftovers, but there's certain things that I think are better as a leftover than originally. One of them I think is Domino's pizza.
Nice.
It
reheats better.
Not just any pizza.
I think
Domino's
pizza is better when you warm it up the second time than it is the first time. And the first time I don't think it's very good.
Then why don't you buy it the day before?
But that would make sense.
And then you reheat it when you actually want to have it that night.
That involves a lot of planning, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's a new year, and maybe that's better. You should be planning these things.
Yeah.
And then you tell Domino's, too, you're like, I hate your pizza fresh, but I'm buying it for tomorrow.
Can you just save it in your fridge for a day?
Yeah. Can you make it, hold on to it for me? I'll pick it up tomorrow on the way to work, and then I'll have my lunch.
Does that feel, because Isaiah, your New Year's resolution was to not go out to restaurants as much?
Yeah.
So if you buy Domino's and then don't eat it, but save it for a day and then eat it a day later, does that still count as eating out?
Oh my gosh.
I guess you have to buy it, but
that's
still.
a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
I think that still counts.
I think it's a loophole.
If I'm eating something that isn't from the grocery, then I feel like it's against the rules.
That's probably a good standard.
But it doesn't count that yesterday, I had roosters for lunch. Now today, I'm going to have my leftover roosters for lunch. So that's
that doesn't count. Yeah.
That doesn't count. So that's
the
just
next time you
once.
go out, then you buy all this food.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Instead of spending $10 at Chipotle, I'm actually getting 3 burritos every time I go.
Yeah, it only counts as one.
Yeah.
It only counts when you're spending the same amount of money.
Same amount of money, if not more.
This is why we don't do well with resolutions.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why we don't do well with a lot of things. Because we're always looking for the loopholes and the workarounds.
Management.
And the minimum amount of effort we can put in to still have it count.
Oh, well.
That's why I got into radio.
It's just the right
minimum
way.
amount of effort to actually count as a job.
It just works well here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also continue to talk about New Year's resolutions and some of our favorite gym etiquette tips. So if you're getting ready to take on the gym for the first time in a while, we have some good tips for you.
Every time Isaiah comes in here, he's talking about gym, whether it's
the
dog,
the gym,
or working out,
or just gym.
Yeah.
Aww, do you ever take Jim to the gym?
I haven't. I can't take Jim anywhere. You guys know that. You can go to the dog park, and that's a stretch there.
That's hard.
But
well, maybe he would like to go out more.
Yeah, I know. Maybe that's the issue, is that you keep on keeping me cooped up here.
Well, enjoy the podcast today. And, of course, please say hi. Text 877 to RadioU or message us at RadioU Riot on our Facebook page if you want to send something a little bit longer.
All right. Well, we'll check you next time.
Enjoy the day.
Bye.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So yesterday I had something happen to me that I don't think it's ever happened to me before.
What happened?
That is, I got told I look like a celebrity.
You did?
And it wasn't. The
By
problem
a
is
staff member here?
No. And it wasn't, hey, you look like that great local radio morning show host. That's not what it was.
You weren't like, oh, you look like Hudson.
Yeah, that was not the case.
Well, who do they think you look like?
I was at the mechanic, and the mechanic and his tech and everything, the whole office of mechanics was remarking how much I looked like Kevin Smith.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
Kevin.
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's no.
There's
well,
nothing
then why
wrong.
did you go?
We're
When you
just
started
saying that. We're just saying that. It's because you wear a hat, I think.
Is it the hat? See, I was telling them about it. I'm taking it all in good stride. There's better celebrities to look like, but I guess there's also worse.
Well, what is Kevin Smith like? You would know him if you even don't think you know him.
Yeah.
But it's because he wears a hat and usually a jersey.
A hockey jersey.
And so were you wearing a hockey jersey yesterday?
No, I was not. You saw me yesterday. Was I wearing a hockey jersey?
I couldn't remember.
Did I look anything particularly like Kevin Smith to you yesterday?
He's lost a lot of weight, so
Yeah.
I think you guys do look more like now that he's lost more weight.
Yeah, I don't know what his hair situation is like.
You can't tell. It's always with a hat.
It's always, yeah, that's right. But
it does go past his shoulders.
I guess the facial hair, I think mine's probably a little longer than his, but I can see that. But that's what I was telling talking to these guys is you should see me with a hockey jersey on.
You really
and my
look
hat
like
turned
it?
backwards. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
You can't dress like that if you don't want to be compared to him.
Yeah, that's you're 100% right about that. But I had made that connection when I've been wearing a hockey jersey.
Sure.
I've never thought just day to day, the way I normally dress, that I look like Kevin Smith.
Well,
but I look so much like Kevin Smith that all the mechanics had to let me know about it.
I'm not sure if this leads to like a style change or what, because I was looking up. He's 51 years old.
Yeah, right.
So
I'm not nearly that. Nowhere near that.
You should check with the mechanic. You're like, am I a young Kevin Smith?
Yeah, right.
Or what are we doing? If not, you're shaving.
Well, he hasn't been very popular for a while, right? So maybe they're thinking of the young version of Kevin Smith, right?
Sure.
Right?
Don't worry about it, Hudson. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to start. I need to change my look. I need to just find any other celebrity.
Well, no hockey jerseys. You got to stop wearing your hat.
Yeah, I can't cut that. Lots of people wear hats.
Well, it's just your look, though. You look like him when you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change something. Well, we'll work on that.
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
You know what time of year it is?
It is not Christmas time.
It's not Christmas time. It's not the holiday season.
It's the New Year, New You time.
It's Girl Scout cookie season.
That is right around the time everybody says, no, I don't want to have any more cookies.
Yeah.
I do find that suspicious.
And then the Girl Scouts come wandering in with all of their wares that they're offering, and man, is it tempting.
Well, do people find, like, text and let us know? Because for me, they would come around the neighborhood a lot. And it was always hard. Like, I can hide from anyone at the front door.
Yeah.
But if it was a group of Girl Scouts, it was a little harder.
You couldn't ignore them?
You couldn't ignore them as much, and you maybe wanted cookies. But now everything's virtual, so they're just selling them that way.
Yeah.
So is it harder or easier?
It makes it a lot easier to either not buy any or buy way more.
Yes.
You know?
That's a good point.
Yeah. So, but what you might not remember is as Girl Scout cookie season returns this year, we also get a brand new Girl Scout cookie. Do you remember that?
I did not remember this.
The Adventureful. Are you ready for an adventure?
Yeah, in cookie form?
Yeah, with the Girl Scouts. It is a brownie-inspired cookie with caramel-flavored cream and a hint of sea salt.
Ooh.
Yeah. Look at the picture. Doesn't that look fantastic?
Honestly, any of the caramel sea salt stuff,
Yeah?
I don't like.
That's not you?
No, but I'm sure I could find another flavor.
Oh, yeah. Well,
To buy
what do you
some
got? The
boxes of.
what do they call them? The whoopsie doos or the thin mints and the Samoas. What's the first one?
The how do you do?
How do you do's? I don't know what the names are, but
I had to
man,
look
are
it
they
up.
delicious.
Adventurefuls. There's a caramel chocolate chip, a Do-si-do.
Do-si-do's out, and the
that's-
Tagalogs
that's
or something
it.
like that,
There's
right?
a s'more one, a lemonade, a lemon up, a Tagalongs. Ooh, a toffee one. I love toffee. There's a shortbread one and Thin Mints and
There's
more.
more Girl Scout cookies than I really thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Thin Mints is the only one that really matters to me. And other than that, like you it's not that they're bad. It's just I don't need anything else.
So when you get the Thin Mints, do you put them in the freezer or do you keep them out?
I keep them out.
If you put them in the freezer, they're extra good.
It's an even better
Yeah, they're
option.
good cold.
Ooh, and what if you put a scoop of ice cream between two of those bad boys?
Well,
or bad girls?
Ordering now. Just give me a box.
I think the Girl Scouts should give us a commission for coming up with these ideas.
Yeah,
and,
just bring a few
yeah,
boxes
make us
by.
honorary members or something.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, so Girl Scout cookie. I mean, what? You've made it 5 days into the year. Maybe you've resisted temptation.
Well,
but
this isn't just about cookies. It's about investing in little girl adventurers' life.
yeah, right.
So you have to usually buy.
It's
a
for the
box or two.
community. It's for
How
giving.
much do they run now?
I don't even want to know.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah,
'Cause,
right.
like,
That's what'll keep me away.
I can go to any other store and there's generic versions of all these cookies.
Absolutely.
So, oh my gosh, that's a lot. Save 15% if you do an order of $99 or
Oh
more.
wow, that's a lot of cookies.
Maybe it's not.
Maybe yeah, right. It's like 5 boxes.
All right, well, it's Girl Scout cookie time. I wonder because they don't set up outside as much anymore, depending
Yeah.
on which area that you're at.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was. I've never gotten Girl Scouts coming to my door, but at the when they're at the Walmart at the front
Outside.
door, that it's hard to ignore. It's hard to see those little girls' faces, and you might make the eyes at you, and you're like,
Well, you're not supposed to make eye contact.
Yeah.
That's why. You
Yeah.
you can walk away if you just pretend to not hear them.
Yeah, right.
You just put your AirPods in. You just walk by real fast.
yeah, get on the phone, pull out the phone. Yeah.
This is The Riot.
Radio U.
So, are you ready for some football, Nikki?
Yeah, what do we got?
We've got.
Where are we at in the week? Is there a game? Or?
Actually, you know what? This is the last week of the season, so it's actually kind of sad. Today's Wednesday. We have no football until Sunday.
Oh, really?
No NFL. No NFL. There was a college bowl game last night. I think. Don't quote me on this, but there's like not the top college championship for football. Alabama, Georgia. That's Monday.
Yeah.
But maybe Saturday is like the next level down championship.
Guys, it's almost gone.
Like North Dakota and Nebraska State or something. Like
Sure, I gotcha.
yeah, like way down low, the next level of schools. So that's all we have until Sunday. But Sunday, the last day of the NFL season. Actually, okay. Forget everything I just said because there's 2 games on Saturday. They changed that this year. They changed it. There's 2 NFL games on Saturday, but forget about that. Sunday.
So minus all those details.
Yes, forget about all of that. Can we cut and start over?
No, you're good.
Sunday is the last day of the NFL regular season.
Yes.
Let's go to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Where the Jaguars stink.
Yeah.
Right? And that's nothing new.
So are they still stinking even with the Urban Meyer stuff? Did that
They haven't. I don't think they've won since they fired him.
Okay, so
They didn't win many times before they fired him, but also not after.
everybody was just wondering like if they'd rally up
Yeah,
or something,
right.
but no, it didn't change.
Nope, it did not change. It did not seem to help, at least in the short term. And to that point, Jaguars fans are understandably upset. And so they have a plan to protest the direction of the franchise, which has been their direction for most of their existence. So I don't know why now, after like 30 years, they're like, yeah, man, we're finally tired of losing. 28 years, shame on us. But 29, I don't know. I don't know exactly how they were around in the 90s. And
they're
so
dressing
they're
up
going to
on
be dressing
Sunday?
up as clowns.
Aww.
They have recruited at least 100 Jaguars fans, which sounds like about all of them.
Wow.
And they'll be dressing up as clowns to go to the game against the Indianapolis Colts because they want to show
That they're tired of it?
I guess how they feel.
I guess my only concern is, how sometimes you have a party and you invite everybody on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
This feels like a Facebook event.
Yeah.
And they said like 100 people said they're coming dressed like clowns.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that actually everybody who commits on
Yeah,
Facebook is actually
right.
coming. So I wonder how many clowns you'll get.
I'm skeptical that many people even have access to clown costumes.
Oh, yeah, you can find that.
Where do they have them all?
I'm sure it's all on Amazon.
Or maybe this shows that a lot of Jaguars fans already happen to be clowns.
No, it just shows they've been ready.
They've been preparing for this moment.
They've been tired enough that they're ready and they're fine with buying it.
Again, after all those years, it's about time. They've been dealing with a lot, and they could just change their loyalty, but that's not very fan-like, is it?
No, it's hard if you have a team, and especially if you're in that area.
Yeah.
Like, that's your team. You wanted to make some better choices. So I guess this is how you're going to be constructive with your criticism of the team, and you're going to dress like a clown on Sunday during their game.
And you're just trying to find a way to make it fun, too.
I guess that's it.
It's not a lot of fun to go watch your team lose, but if you have a honky nose, that might make it a little more entertaining. You got
some big shoes on. You're fine. Some bold prints.
That flower that shoots water at people. It'll be a great time.
I do think it'd be awesome. If I was upset, like as the owner, I would tell everybody, like for COVID reasons, at the gate, you can't like dress and add any accessories. Like if you had the big nose, like you had to leave it at the gate.
No one will be able to tell you're. I mean, it's in Florida, but other than that, nobody will be able to tell you're a clown because you have to wear a mask.
That's
so
right.
yeah,
You're not too worried.
But the sad thing is, like they're doing this out of protest, and they probably know this as well as anybody, that the owner of the Jaguars, he's not going to care.
Sure.
He's just as likely to move the team to London as soon as he can, like as in Europe, as in the UK.
Yeah.
So maybe this will be the last straw. Maybe he'll just be like, this is what you think? You want to dress up as clowns? We don't get this kind of disrespect in London.
I'm going.
Yeah, and the franchise leaves town.
So that is during the Sunday game. If you're not in Jacksonville and you can't dress up as a clown in person, I'm sure there'll be a strong social media following of dressing up as a clown, watching wherever you're at.
Yep.
Welcome to The Riot, where you listen to us and that's it. It's pretty much a one-way street. The Riot. RadioU.
It is the time of year for New Year's resolutions, of course. Now, for Nikki and Isaiah and I, our resolutions all seem to revolve around our eating habits. But for many others...
Don't tell everybody.
Yeah.
Well, you listen to the show, you can tell that we have some eating issues that we need to work through.
Hey, that's a bold statement.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I would say we have a pretty happy eating life, you know?
So.
That's the problem. We get too happy when we eat. We need to.
I think there's just so many opportunities, you know?
Good call. You really put a negative spin on it, Hudson.
Yeah.
I don't think we should do negative stuff with food.
If we're making a change and we're trying to make a positive change, that means we must have been doing something negative before.
No, you feel like you have to find something. So
Yeah.
right.
Sure. You gotta go with something, obviously.
For a lot of people, not us, it involves your New Year's resolution involves going back to the gym or going to the gym for the first time. And so that's why I've invited specifically Isaiah in as the only person here who has stepped foot in a gym, I'd say, anytime recently.
Are you still working out?
Yep, I still go every day, every single day.
So then you should be able to tell us and anybody else who might be new to the gym some gym etiquette tips.
See, I think that right now, if you've been going to the gym, this is the worst time to go to the gym.
So I've heard.
Because in January, like obviously everybody's New Year's resolution, a lot of them is to go back to the gym. So now the gym is like more packed than ever, like 10 times more packed than it ever is. Like usually if I go anytime other than 5 o'clock p.m., I'm good. Like there's not going to be a lot of people there. But yesterday I went like 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. and it is just packed pretty much 24/7 right now. But a lot of people that like are new to going to the gym, the main things that I would say is like two things. The only things that you really have to worry about when you're in the gym, number one, nobody's looking at you. Nobody cares what you're doing. So if you're going to the gym for the first time and you're like, oh my gosh, people know that I'm new here. Everybody's new at the gym right now and nobody's paying attention to you. Everybody that goes there every day is just focusing on themselves so you don't have to feel like self-conscious at the gym.
So pause. So that means that your gym etiquette doesn't matter. You can just leave stuff, not wipe it down, just do whatever, hog a machine. You can do whatever you want. Nobody's paying attention.
I wouldn't say that. But if you feel like you look dumb, no one's probably noticed that you're doing anything wrong or that you've been standing around trying to figure out what you're trying to do for more than anybody else is.
I feel like it's if you ever go on vacation, like have you ever gone and you're like, I don't want to look like a tourist.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I live here. So for gym etiquette and for if you're, now going back, a lot of people feel like like you really want to look like you've been there the whole time.
Yeah.
And you're not new to gym. You're not
Yeah.
on vacation there.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I would say is just like personal space. Just make sure you're giving everybody enough room.
Yeah.
Don't get too close to people. As long as you're not like in my personal space, then you're not going to bother me. Doesn't matter what you do in your area, as long as you're not inside of mine doing anything weird, then I'm going to be cool with you.
Well, that's
so.
not very supportive.
Yeah, you know what? I thought that was
Come
pretty good
on.
advice. Come on, just give me my space, and no one's paying attention to you as long as you're not in their space.
I kind of like Isaiah's rules actually because they're very simple. Where I have a list here, and this is from the CEO or COO of Lifetime. Like that's Lifetime Fitness, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And like he's got 7 rules
Ooh.
for gym etiquette. That's too much to remember. Isaiah's is just nobody cares what you're doing, so that means you can do whatever you want as long as you just leave everybody else alone.
Exactly.
Which that is a big rule. Don't talk to people at the gym.
No, don't talk to people.
But what does the other guy say? Is there anything else?
Well, of course, the number one rule is the golden rule. Just treat others
Like you wanna be
as you would
treated?
want to be treated. He also says don't. Not just about hogging one machine and just sticking on it, but like some people will get in a rotation where they're kind of moving between the same few machines, but not really letting other people work in between them when they're not using one particular machine, or if you're between sets or something, let other people get a set in while you take a breather or work on something else. He says, this one is odd to me. Don't talk on the phone, he says, in common areas. I don't feel like that's like he says it could disrupt other people's workouts.
No.
Most people have headphones anyways. What's the big deal?
It's annoying when it feels like someone has taken a meeting.
Oh, yeah.
When they're supposed to be working out.
Especially loudly.
Yeah.
That one's weird.
Have you experienced that?
I think if you're like on the phone, especially like if you, mine is like if you're in the way. If you're like talking on the phone and you're sitting on a bench, or if you're like on a machine and you're sitting there talking, I'm like, dude, what are you doing right now? Like this place is packed anyway. And same thing like with the time thing, like don't waste other people's time.
He also says keep quiet areas like the locker room, sauna, and steam room relaxing.
So don't go take your call in there.
Yeah, definitely not. Don't take a call at the gym.
Don't
Just
do
don't
a
do
meeting.
it. He says wear appropriate attire, which it's funny that my mind initially goes to, like, what does he care if I wear jeans? But, you know, like, that's not what he means.
No one cares if you wear jeans, Hudson. If you want to wear jeans, you can wear
I'm pretty sure
them.
people will care. I mean, they're not going to, like, call you out,
Oh,
but
you're
they're
so
going to
sweet,
notice if
Hudson.
you're wearing jeans.
Yeah, if you're wearing
I do
jeans.
believe.
Sometimes they don't want you to wear like street wear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't be, don't be too revealing or anything like that. Don't create a polarizing environment, and this rule goes for everywhere right now. Stay home if you're sick.
There you go.
So those are your gym etiquette tips. If you're getting back in the gym, good for you.
Sounds like there's too much though, which then sounds like we shouldn't be going.
Again, that's why I like Isaiah's
Yeah,
rules. Keep
nobody's
it
gonna even
simple.
notice. No one
Lifetime
notices.
COO Jeff Zwintel has too many things to remember. Just go to the gym and be nice to everybody.
I feel
There you
pressure
go.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Here's a question for you, Nikki.
Yeah.
What food do you think makes the best leftovers?
Probably pizza.
You think pizza?
I think, or like maybe mac and cheese or something.
Mac and cheese.
Something that you have
okay.
a lot of in the beginning. I over pizza buy.
Oh, yeah. That's
you can
smart.
eat it as
That's an
leftovers.
investment. That's actually a great point. Well, I have a poll here conducted on behalf of, or conducted by one poll. And guess how many people they surveyed?
2,000.
2,000, the magic number.
Guys, you don't realize if it's a poll, it has to be at least 2,000 people.
That's the minimum for it to be taken seriously.
It is.
Anything less than that doesn't count. So they asked a lot of questions about people's food habits and stuff like that. But the question that I'm really interested in is their question of where they asked people what is the best food to eat as leftovers. Mm-hmm. Pizza, your number one answer. That feels like a good standard answer. It's up there. It's number 2. 63% of people said pizza makes good leftovers.
Yeah, but what would top it?
What would top it? Soup/stew.
Oh, that
is
doesn't
the
feel
number
right.
one. You don't think?
That doesn't feel right at all.
79% of people disagree.
Who's making soup?
Who said you have to make it?
Well, I
you
mean,
just buy a big, I don't know where, you get a giant thing of soup. You get a giant thing of soup. Apparently, this is what people are doing.
No,
79% of people, Nikki. 79% of these 2,000 Americans.
I feel like there's an older group in this 2000 survey, and that's
79% of the people were older.
It is, because it doesn't feel like we're overbuying soup and having it for days.
But have you ever, do you like chili?
I do sometimes. And I know if it is a soup, like sometimes people will make a big pot of chili.
Oh yeah, you get some chicken stock or turkey stock after Thanksgiving or Christmas or something.
The 79% is you. It sounds like because you're eating soup leftovers.
When I do, I've spoken about this before. I'm a huge chili fan.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you see chili on the menu at restaurants. You're like, who's ordering the chili? It's me. I ordered the chili. But I love chili. I like making chili, but nobody else in my house, like my wife, doesn't like chili. So when I make chili, just by default, you don't just make a cup of chili,
No,
right?
you make a
Like if you're
lot.
making it from scratch, you have a pound of ground beef at least, or whatever meat you want to use. You got to make a lot of chili, and then you leave the leftovers. But the leftovers oftentimes are better than when you initially eat the chili, because the longer it gets to mix in and all the flavors to complement each other longer.
Yeah.
It really does benefit from just sitting there.
They're saying like during COVID and like everybody's staying at home more that we actually tend to eat more leftovers than we used to. So I think they should say instead of soup stew, the 79% is just chili.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only
right.
one.
Chili makes it better, the best leftovers. It really does. Although, so they also had, and this is incredibly vague, meat was third place after pizza with 62%.
What does that mean
That's
for the meat?
not specific enough. Pasta was 60%, and then rice was 55%. Pasta, again, very vague, but I'm 100% on board with that. You always hear people saying that with, like, it's particularly Italian food. Like, you get a lasagna, that oftentimes is better as you reheat it a couple days later. And then in regards to meat, you know, one of the all-time great leftovers, fried chicken.
Fried chicken, sure.
Fried chicken. And that's one, like you mentioned, something you buy a lot of. You get yourself a bucket at KFC, and they're like, is this for your family? No, it's for me to eat the entire week. I'm not even going to reheat it, though. You eat that cold, and that's great.
Remember, that's like when you go and you buy all this stuff, and they're like, are you having a party?
Yeah.
You're like, no, it's just me.
The family 4-pack you're getting, eh?
Hey.
What are you doing with all these biscuits? They're all for me.
That's it. If you're eating leftovers, unless you guys have any other ideas outside of the soup, pizza, meat, pasta, or rice, that seems to be the best foods for leftovers.
Let us know what else makes really good leftovers, because hey, we're open to ideas. We want to be useful with the food that we have, right?
Use the food up.
Yeah, and clean out our fridge.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy dandy fast forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Now, something was crossing my mind recently, and that is just how weird it is to live with roommates, especially when you first, like those things that you realize you've been living in your family's household and the way they do things, and then you're have to live with somebody else who's from a different household, and they do different things, like completely different the way in their house. And so I had these thoughts of all these stories of weird roommates. And so I want to hear everybody else's, because I know we all have them. So you can text in at 8772 RadioU if you've got a good one.
Especially hard if your roommate is not someone that, like, if you just had to find a roommate.
Yeah.
So it's not like you were friends
not a friend that you knew
They're like,
beforehand.
you're not close to them. If you're not close to your roommate, then
That's
it's like a
weird.
whole. But there's a bunch of other things you have to cross over before, like, you actually feel comfortable with them. There's like 3 kinds of roommates that are bad roommates. You have like one like that isn't clean. You have one that's like maybe like aggressive or passive aggressive, or one that's like super shy and just is always in their room and like doesn't want anything to do with you. And more than likely, you've probably lived with at least one of those kind of people.
Yeah, and if you've lived with enough roommates, you probably live with them all. So Isaiah, I know that you did 4 years of college, and you now live with a roommate too.
But he's your friend.
So, so you must, after all of that, must have some good roommate stories.
Yeah, my roommates in college, for the most part, were all like really good. Like, I would consider them all my friends now. At the time, like, I had one roommate that was like a random roommate that ended up working out like pretty nice. Like, we were very different, but it ended up being pretty good. And then I lived with like, a couple of my friends like my senior year, and that was good. But definitely the one that I lived with the most was like the uncleanliness, also like hygiene. Like one of my roommates was very like not hygienic. Like, I mean, if he brushed his teeth in the morning, it was like a very special day, like that kind of thing. Which for me, I'm like, well, you know, my mom kind of raised me to brush my teeth every morning before bed and in the morning too. So that was one that was like a big hurdle, as well as like dishes in the sink not being cleaned, which again for me was like, oh my gosh, can we like get rid of these? This is getting gross. I'm constantly cleaning up after my roommates type deal. But for the most part, it's pretty good. And then my roommate now, I can't complain about him like on air because obviously like he listens to a lot of stuff we say. But he's also he's clean, and I mean he's like one of my best friends. So now it's this is my best roommate yet.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys probably have it pretty well set up.
Yeah, but the uncleanliness was a lot for me.
It's funny. I used to, on your note of like the not clean roommates, there's a whole spectrum of that, because there is like the people that do not want to clean whatsoever, and you're just surprised at how dirty they can live. But then there's also the other end where they're super
they can
clean.
Be so dirty.
Oh no, I mean like the people that are super clean.
Oh yeah.
Because I had a roommate when I first started at RadioU. And we had several roommates in the house at the same time. It was one guy that was living with, like, I guess it was his fiance at the time. And I remember him like getting upset with her. He wouldn't talk to the rest of us about dishes and stuff, but with her, he was always like, remember, babe, you gotta rinse off the dishes before you put them in the dishwasher. The dishwasher doesn't have a garbage disposal, he would say to her. And that was pretty rough.
Why, but throwing in the babe part really makes it like condescending.
I don't know if that's a direct quote, but I remember him on more than one occasion having a public talk with her about rinsing off the dishes, because if you're going to put them in the dishwasher.
It seems like I never rinse them off.
No, definitely not. I didn't have the heart to tell him that, though.
Oh, it's all this time it was you.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't even her.
Why is the dishwasher always clogged up? Oh my gosh! Yeah, it was all me.
Hudson the whole time. Oh, that's awful.
Well, I've got a few more roommate stories from myself, but I also want to hear everyone else's. So text in 8772 RadioU. We'll come back with a few coming up next.
And you should maybe check with your roommate. Be like, well, what is it about you?
Yeah.
That you didn't know? Which one
What do you hate about me? Just be honest.
I'm sure people have a ton of roommate stories about me that I don't even want to know.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I need to hear more of Hudson's, and this is not all for on air, but he was telling me about the guy who lived in the living room.
Yeah, he lived in I really can't tell too much about him, but he lived, and it's just sad because, well, okay, he doesn't really have any of the like, oh man, this guy is crazy, but just the whole package of this guy was pretty weird.
Sure.
And so he lived on an air mattress in the living room.
How much do you think he would pay for rent?
Oh man,
too much if you're living on an air mattress.
Yeah, right.
I don't care how much you're paying. It's too much.
It was
that
weird
because
it should be free.
I don't know if he was working at any point during the time where he lived with us, so I also don't know that he was paying rent. You know what I mean? Like maybe, but I also don't have no clue, because I was renting from the guy who actually rented the apartment. I was like a sub, I guess you call that sublease or whatever.
Yeah, subleasing.
So I don't know how he would be friends with the guy on the air mattress. But he was there before I was, so I don't know. But the air mattress guy, I remember him. He would try to get people to sign up for his. He was trying to start a personal training business, and so he had these super not great flyers that he made up, and they had pictures of SpongeBob doing the weightlifting thing.
No.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that, and
that one I don't think took off. That business
for
really
some
took
reason
off.
I don't think he's doing personal training.
So could you go in the living room, or since he lived in the living room?
Yeah, I could, but it was kind of uncomfortable.
He did not.
Yeah, right. But what was difficult was the kitchen, because the kitchen and the living room were like the same room.
Yeah.
The kitchen and dining room. So anytime you had to cook, go to the fridge, anything, you had to go out there, and you just didn't know what you were going to see, because it's air mattress guy that you know, like, what's air mattress guy going to be doing?
Yep.
Yeah. So that was a little weird. But
no, that's more than
it's
weird.
a lot weird.
It's more than a little
But
weird.
again, he doesn't have I don't have any crazy stories about him, but I do have, and maybe this one isn't crazy either, but the roommate that I had in college, I only lived with him because it was broadcasting school. I only went to school for 6 months, so I only lived with him for 6 months, which was enough. Because although he's a very nice guy, he was just a little more, I don't know, he had a very close relationship with his mom. And so
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Well, I want to hear what is.
Yes.
It was the weirdest thing I remember him doing is there was one night he had this girl he liked. Him and the girl went out. It was a Sunday night. They go to this concert, like somewhat near our apartment, but probably, a while away. At 9 p.m., his mom either texts or calls him and says, like, hey, where are you tonight? What are you up to? And he's like, I'm out at this concert and whatever. And his mom says, well, tomorrow's a school day. It's you got to be back at the apartment. Like, you better get enough sleep for school. And so 9 p.m., my roommate with the girl he likes, he leaves her at the concert because his mom texted him and heads back to the apartment, takes the bus back to the apartment.
No.
Misses the headliner of the concert, leaves the girl stranded there, and gets back so he can get a good night's sleep because his mom told him to.
It was so great meeting
Yeah.
you, but my mom really said I needed to get home tonight.
Yeah. So that was that was where I knew he was from a different world. I told my mom that story, and she's like, even I wouldn't expect, I would expect you to lie. Like, what?
Yeah,
what?
I'm in my bed right now.
Yeah,
I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to go to sleep.
Getting a very good night's sleep, not at a concert.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So he was a unique. He also made like the biggest pot of ramen. Like he would get the 12-pack of ramen and make the whole thing for one meal. I was like, I don't know how much money you're saving if you're doing it that way, but I guess if it's filling you up, it's all good. And he was notorious for clogging the toilets at the house.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
now
but
that's the worst yet.
That was the only part that really affected me.
Sure.
That
Why
was
would
pretty
he just
crazy.
call his mom then and come
Yeah.
back?
Yeah,
Come
no.
fix the toilet, Mom.
You know that we aren't best friends with any of our previous roommates if we feel comfortable talking about them on
Yeah,
air
that's
because
right.
that means they do not listen to us speak on here.
Yeah.
One of the things for me too, my roommate and I right now for the most part agree upon everything. Like we don't really have any terrible things about each other, but I know one thing that I do that makes him really upset that I am bad about, and I will soak this because I know I am, is I will leave leftovers in the fridge for too long. I know I will.
sure.
Things that are probably have gone bad. That is the one thing that I'm bad about because I think things are good for longer than they are. I'm like, this smoke is only a couple days expired. It's probably fine. He'll smell it. He'll be like, dude, come on. He's like, I'm always throwing away your stuff. So that is the one thing that I know I'm bad about.
That is still not compared to Hudson's life. I
Yes,
think that's
exactly.
bad.
Right.
Yes.
That's no living room guy.
Yeah. I don't sleep in the living room.
Oh my gosh. Well,
You know you have a good roommate situation when you have your own room.
yes,
Yeah.
that's
Apparently.
that's a
That's
good
the standard
start.
we're setting
Yeah.
up. The bar is low. If you have your own bedroom, that means your roommate's kind of like you.
You're doing good.
8772 RadioU if you want to text in with a good roommate story.
The Riot promise is that they'll always have an opinion on everything they talk about. But that doesn't mean any of their opinions will make sense. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Of course, we're all familiar with the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, right?
Yeah.
And about once a year, it seems to come up that the Wienermobile is hiring its next set of, or its next round of drivers.
Usually it's like a internship sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's paid, but they take the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile out during the summertime.
Yep.
And so it's like a competition to try to get a chance to win that coveted role.
Yeah, well, we all know about that, but did you also realize that there is a Planters Peanuts Nutmobile?
They have one too?
Yeah, I think we've mentioned it before because if I remember correctly, they had a contest recently where you could actually spend the night in the Peanut Mobile.
Oh, for an
Do you remember
Airbnb,
that? Yeah, it was in
yes.
Minnesota somewhere.
It was next to like the factory or whatever, the headquarters.
It looked pretty picturesque though.
It did, but it is still just
it's still a peanut mobile.
It's still a peanut mobile.
Yeah, well, now it sounds like you could spend several nights in the Peanut Mobile, the Nut Mobile, if you'd like to. And if they choose you, starting yesterday, they are accepting applications. They need 3 new people to chauffeur Mr. Peanut around. They need new drivers, new representatives to take care of the the Nutmobile.
Oh, maybe it'll come by because then they go around to different cities and they do like media interviews, local radio, television, and then they work alongside people who do things in the community with the Nutmobile when it comes around.
We're a radio station. We could, if you get accepted as the Planters Nutmobile driver, you might be able to talk to us on behalf of Planters.
Fingers crossed.
That represent Mr. Peanut with the Nutmobile. That'll be a lot of fun. Well, they're accepting applications until January 24th. At beapeanutter.com.
Nice.
You not just only need to have a resume, which I don't know what applicable skills you could put on your resume that would make them want you.
I think it's more you have to probably have a good driving record.
You think?
And then you have to have something with like digital media, social media stuff.
Yeah.
But they want you to submit a resume with a 30 to 45 second long creative video as to why you should be a peanutter.
Yeah, I think we might be uniquely qualified.
I don't want to though.
You don't want to?
No.
Oh, don't you think it'd be fun? Travel the country?
You know, I
talk about nuts?
I'm pretty shy to where I would not want to drive that thing. I don't want people.
That would be a lot of pressure. That's actually what would hold me up too. You're totally right.
I don't want to be the one driving the peanut mobile.
They're hiring 3 people, so you just work out a deal with the other 2 people they hire and be like, hey, look, I'll do the media stuff. I'll talk about the nuts. You just drive. We'll have a nice relationship here.
All right. Break for a moment because it actually does have some other requirements.
Oh, it does?
You have to have a bachelor's degree.
What?
You have to have a valid driver's license. You have to have an ability to collaborate in small group teams, a written and verbal communication skill, a keen eye for detail. So you have to have that stuff first.
No, you know what? That's just the stuff that, what do they say?
You have to have a bachelor's degree.
80% of people that are hired for jobs don't actually meet all of the qualifications. So especially now, right? They're just looking for anybody. So that bachelor's degree, they're trying to weed you out. If you don't have a bachelor's degree, they want you to see that and go, well, I guess I'm not applying. So they can narrow it down. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't apply. You can still be a peanutter.
It's through Hormel Foods, and it does offer a benefits package. You get a base salary plus bonus, a merit increase performance review. You get medical, dental, vision.
Wow.
You get a pension and profit sharing stock purchase plan if you're chosen as one of the drivers for the Peanut Mobile.
I didn't hear anything about peanuts, though.
I bet it's all you can eat.
All you can eat peanuts?
I'm sure
they should
there.
include that as well.
Oh my gosh.
Honey roasted kind?
Imagine if you had an allergy and they had to still hire you.
Yeah. They can't legally say no based off of that. But I don't know if it's a line of work you'd want to get into.
Well, that's available and you can apply up until the 24th.
But if you were allergic to nuts and you still wanted to be the Planters Peanut Mobile driver, think about how great of an endorsement that would be. You're like, I'm so passionate about nuts, I can't even eat them. And I'm willing to stand out here and tell you how great they are.
You just have to make sure that they provide an EpiPen for you.
Oh, yeah. Include that in the benefits and the medical care as well.
You'll really need your medical.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
I've noticed as maybe a bit of a theme in the show today. And actually, I think it might be a theme constantly in every show we ever do, is we tell these stories of people that maybe some of their problems could have been avoided if they were a little better at self-reflection. And I think we all could stand to improve on looking at ourselves and seeing where we need to improve and seeing where maybe things need to be a little different. I know for a lot of us with New Year's and New Year's resolutions, it kind of it brings that upon us. Sometimes
it's the time where a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, where you need to look at yourself and see where things maybe need to change or things you could be doing better. And I think sometimes the worst is when the self-reflection maybe is forced upon you and then you still kind of try to dance around it. Like maybe you lose a job or you get out of a relationship, like just something kind of traumatic. And you could use that time to think, okay, how can I healthily deal with this? What is it that I maybe have done that led to this happening? And sometimes people just want to completely ignore that because it's hard to look at yourself and say, yeah, I do need to do better. But again, we can all do that. We can all do better in different areas and we can all do better at looking at areas where we can do better. But here's the great thing. God is ready to help you do that because Jesus sees every aspect of your life. So he sees what's going on and the things you're doing great and the things maybe you could improve upon. And it's not just about if you're going to talk to God about God, I want you to help me look at some of the issues I have, some of the things that I need to change. It's not like, well, God's going to be mad at you. It's not like God's going to say, yeah, of course you suck. Like, what? It's about helping you avoid some of the situations you get into, because a lot of stuff some stuff happens and we have no control over it. It's other people and other things going on. But some of it is decisions we make over and over again, maybe without realizing it. Stuff that we can learn from and we don't.
And it's not in a mean way where, we all have the friends who are happy to tell you about the things you should be working on.
Exactly, yeah.
Super happy to share that with
Quick
you.
to point out the issues that you have. But no, that's not what it is. God, it's all in love. It's all in the interest of he wants you to be able to live a happier, better life. And he wants to help you through that because he loves you. So if you're ready for that, if you're ready for someone that you can truly turn to and say, I need to learn a lesson right now. I want to know what I need to change. And you can do that when things are going great. When things are going bad, again, we can always, all of us, improve. And God's ready to help with that. So say, hey, God, I'm ready. I'm ready for you to show me how I can do things better. And start talking to God. And very importantly, let Jesus talk to you.
You've made it all the way to the end of the Worst of the Riot. This show only exists because of support from listeners like you. Find out more and help out at RadioU.com/donate.